Hi, my name is Jason Ellinger, and I'm the CEO of Taika Translations. And I want to help somebody out there today who may be struggling in their business or struggling as they build their business in feeling disconnected and feeling that maybe their team is unproductive. You've achieved some level of success out there in your industry, and you've grown your business maybe above the 500,000 or above the $1 million mark, and there's just some kind of uh, uh, it's like a friction that you feel in your company that maybe you just feel like something's missing, and you feel like that things should be maybe more meaningful in some senses. Maybe they should be. You should be able to connect better, or some team members should be more productive, or maybe team members should be more committed in some areas of your company, or maybe you talk about strategic objectives or the vision for the company, and then nobody does anything or nobody contributes, and you feel kind of deflated sometimes, or you're running and running and running, and you're trying to invest and invest and invest in your company, and you feel like, man, I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere. And this is for that business owner out there who's been in the business, maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 years, maybe 5, 10 years, something around that time. And you feel like that, and you're kind of struggling. And because I was like that. That's how I felt. About 5 years into doing business, we achieved a good level of success in our translations companies and our digital service uh, products that we sell, and and we had team members, and we're processing work, and it's just like I thought, man, what is the kind of glue that we're missing? And I built our company. Basically, I started using Entre Leadership book from Dave Ramsey, and there's tons of great content in there, and it really helped me to start our business. And then I stumbled on through the Dave Ramsey and the Entre Leadership team. I stumbled onto Patrick Lencioni and his content, and I sent out a video last week about the Genius book that he's put together in recent days, and it's just a complete game changer in the realm of team member performance and productivity. But there was a book that he produced, I don't know, 10 years ago, and that's this one right here, and it's called The Advantage. And The Advantage was a book that really, I think, saved my business and saved our strategy, gave us real strength to lift our company out of a kind of a lull, and give it clarity, and energize it with clarity, really. And so what I want to tell you about today, I'm gonna take this book, and I'm gonna give you there's 6 questions in this book about giving your company the advantage. And I can't do it as good as Patrick Lencioni can, but I will try to do a synopsis of this for you and help you as you work through answering those questions. Because if you're going to exist in the marketplace for any period of time, longer than 5, 10 years, you're going to have the advantage that Patrick talks about in this book. And it talks about organizational health and why that's more important than any other strategic element of your company. And so the first question that you have to ask, that you have to clarify, and you have to solidify the answer for in your company and for your operation is, why do we exist? And you don't just sit down and write a essay on why you exist. It has to be clear, and it has to be concise. It has to be true to the ownership of the organization. True, even if you wouldn't have talked about it, it would be true to you. Like, really, why did you create the company? And just to give you an example, for my company, for Taika Translations, we created the why as to be wealthy spiritually, mentally, financially, to work near loved ones, and to demonstrate Christian character. That means doing to others as we would be able to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. And we wanted to create a company where that was true, because I had worked in other organizations and it was just not so. And man, I thought, gosh, I could make the world a better place if I could create a company, an operation in the marketplace around something that I genuinely care about, where we could, where that would be the environment of every team member as they come to work every day. And so we that was the definition we gave ourselves. So when you do this, you answer the question, the first question: why do we exist? You have to go into it with a very aspirational understanding of why we exist. And it's got to be something just short of, well, we exist to make the world a better place. But that's not clear enough. So creating the advantage is about creating clarity. And so just saying, well, we exist to make the world a better place, that's not clear enough. Why intrinsically to the leadership of the company do we exist? And let's nail that down. Let's clarify that. And so one of the things that you can do to help you identify that is you can ask the question, how do we contribute to a better world? And this is a very artistic process. You don't just say, oh, well, we do this. That's not what this process is about. The process is about really and truly identifying what is deeply true about your organization to the leadership, to those who founded the company or who are running it today, and why does that matter to them? And so, like I just said, we start with the question, how do we contribute to a better world? And that starts a conversation among the leadership. Maybe it's just a leadership of two people. Maybe if you don't have a more than one person leadership team, maybe you can sit down with your best friend and talk about the company. Say, hey, how can I, there are some questions that I need help answering, because the process of thinking, Jordan Peterson says this beautifully, the process of thinking is not a singular process. Thinking involves dialogue. It involves dialogue with another human, so that when you can actually say your ideas, some of them are ludicrous, and you have a sounding board that sits there and says, hey, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. Or somebody that can actually help you say, you know what, actually that sounds very true to your character. And I think that's very valid about about who you are and what you're trying to do, and what I've seen you do as you've developed this company over the years. So if you don't have a leadership team, at least get your best friend or somebody who knows you very closely. Maybe it's your spouse, or maybe it's one of your buddies from high school, or what have you. But sit down, and this is a multiple conversation process. This is not something that happens in a single day. So you sit down, you have the conversation, and you open the conversation by asking yourself this question: how do I or we contribute to a better world? How's my company and the work that we do, how does it contribute to a better world? And that leads to the next question. Once you kind of start to get a little bit of clarity around how you contribute to a better world, you ask yourself, okay, why do we exist? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? And that is all centered around the singular question of, why do we exist as a company? So this isn't easy, and it's kind of messy. There's going to be some tangents. It's going to take time. And the idea is not to get to the answer the fastest. Like for a person like me, I want to drive to an answer the fastest possible. And this book really helped me to say, Jason, slow down, stop, and have conversation. You really have to get this answer right, the answers to these questions right, if you're going to truly create the advantage, the strategic advantage, the most important advantage that you can have for this company for the foreseeable future. So you have to get it right, and it's going to be messy. And so that involved me sitting down with 4 of my leaders and discussing this. And we had lots of meetings around this single question: why do we exist? And again, we started with the question, okay, what do we do that contributes to a better world? And then we followed that up each meeting with, why do we do that? Why do we actually do that? And there was a lot of different discussions around why we thought we did some things, why we thought other things might be valid, and we put those basically on a sheet of paper and just brainstormed and brainstormed and brainstormed and talked through it and gave each other, we acted as each other's sounding boards so that we could really work through and get to the true answer. Because it's not, if you just come up with a haphazardly kind of do this process and come up with an unanswer, your organization, they will see straight through that. People are smart, and everybody in your organization, they are sharp. They're sharper than you think, and they will see straight through if you just tried to come up with an answer to make something sound good or to make something sound inspirational, but it's not actually true. This has to be fundamentally true in your life, in how you live, in who you are as a person. And so answering these two questions as a part of answering the question for your organization, why do we exist, is incredibly important. And it's what I've spent a lot of my career around, helping other business owners when I work with other business owners. And this is I get a lot of resistance on this. It's like, well, obviously I do this to make money so I can feed my family. No, that's not true. You created the business, and maybe that was an initial effect of the company. And honestly, if that is the only reason that you exist in the world today, or go to work in your organization, you're going to fail. You're doomed to fail. You will not succeed, because to make money is too vain of of aspiration to win over time. To make money, you can make money anytime, at all times. But why do you do that? And so if you're going to grow an organization beyond $1 million and go further upwards from there, you're going to have a lot more depth to get to bring your team members into a vision that matters, and that they see that matters to you, and that impacts the world around them. Because just making money, come to work to make money, is a very poor excuse to come to work. We spend too much of our time at work, investing, working, sacrificing sometimes. Sometimes we work long hours because the work that we do matters, and it must matter. And I would even compel you to understand the concept that if you do not have a deep meaning beyond making money and paying your bills each month, then I really don't think you should be in business for that long. Because people come to work every day and invest the most valuable asset that they have into the organization that you have created. And if it doesn't mean more than just making money, you're going to fail, and you're going to have an environment inside of that organization that is not any environment that I would ever want to work with, and neither would so many people in the marketplace. They want to understand, and you need to understand and feel that what you do matters. And so answering the question, why do we exist? It's messy. It involves multiple kind of internal clarifying questions, and it involves time and kind of a artistic process of creating it. So that's the first of the questions. And there's more details. If you want to find those out, get the book, The Advantage, and read it. I'm going to continue with the video series on these 6 questions. But really, I think that Patrick Lencioni says it well at the end of the section where it talks about why do we exist. It says, it's important to keep in mind that in the process of identifying why an organization exists is often a messy one, because it's more of an art than a science. It's going to require a little time and plenty of fluid, unstructured discussion. And that's okay. The goal is not to get an answer in the shortest amount of time possible, but rather to unwrap the true reason for the organizational existence. And this is only the first part, and there are 6 questions that have to be correctly answered. But this is the first part, and this is one of the most transformational initial questions that you have to answer as a business owner, so that you can start about the process of creating clarity for your organization and leading and removing those internal frictions that cause so much frustration and can lead to business failure, because you don't have a team that understands the reason why you exist.